Hey everyone, this is Adam with PsychedelicInvest.com. Today's video is going to be about Cybin. Cybin is one of the better known psychedelic biotech companies in the sector, and for good reason. And I also thought it was just a good time to give you guys my thoughts on the company. So we'll dive into the financials first, and then I'll get into the other stuff like the pipeline and whatnot. So as far as their cash and cash equivalents, they had 63.6 million, and their net loss was 17.2 million. So now out of that 17.2 million, 2.5 million was a one-time non-recurring expense. So we can, let's say, write that off. We'll subtract that from the 17.2 million and we get a cash burn of around 14 million per quarter. So this gives them about a year and change. I know I say that a lot, but things can be relatively unpredictable in regards to biotech timelines. So they have about a year and change runway. Which is okay. As an investor, I would be totally okay with this. It's not a red flag, but keep it in the back of your mind as you get closer to that year date so that you know, like, where is the cash going to come from? Because Cybin isn't generating revenues. The way they are going to generate revenue is when they get FDA approval for one of their drugs. So as an investor, I would just understand that there's a year runway here. It could end up being less. It could end up being stretched to be a little bit more, but that's kind of how much time you have to assess your confidence in this company. So before you might have to worry about dilution. So we have that. All right, so that's the financials. There isn't much to say in regards to Cybin's financials, so we have that. And now let's take a look at the pipeline. So with Cybin, they have two main things in their pipeline. Like, I know they have other molecules that they're working on, but these are the two main guys that we hear about in the psychedelic sector. There's CYB003 and CYB004. So CYB003 is psilocybin, is a deuterated psilocybin analog. I've been saying that so much. It is a mouthful. And then we also have CYB004, which is deuterated DMT. So what are the advantages of something being deuterated? So I'm going to focus on the psilocybin one. So CYB003, it would just make it easier for me to help you guys visualize what the advantages of it are. So in regards to deuterating molecules, it essentially makes the molecules more stable and it increases their half-life. So now, Cybin's claim when it comes to CYB003 is that the deuterated psilocybin has a faster onset and a shorter duration. So now, if these claims are true, then this, as an investor, this is really, really interesting. Because think about it like this. When you have people going to clinics to get psychedelic therapy or psychedelic assisted therapy, the less time they spend in that clinic, the better. And the less time they spend, the less time they spend under the influence of whatever psychedelic molecule they might even be taking for therapeutic purposes, the better. Because time is something that is precious, and in terms of fitting this type of mental health care in our day-to-day lives, just generally the shorter the better. So like that's my view on that. So like if you go to a clinic, I'm sure some people would prefer traditional psilocybin, but me personally, if I was going to a clinic, I would 100% want to take a variation of psilocybin that was faster acting, faster onset, and shorter duration. It just makes more sense into how it would fit it into my day. So that's why I really like CYB003. So that's their claim. So now it's slightly at odds with what deuteration does to molecules, because it will typically increase the half-life. So that leads me to believe that they mentioned psilocybin analog specifically. So my feeling is the analog that they're working on has a shorter half-life generally. So like that's where they're getting the shorter duration from. It's not necessarily from it being deuterated. I hope I'm not confusing you guys. But yeah, I just really want to stress that, like, from a from the perspective of clinics and like getting treatment in a clinic, a faster onset and shorter duration type of psilocybin, in my opinion, is so much better than an 8 hour uh, psychedelic traditional psilocybin experience. So we're talking about for therapeutic purposes. So like that's why I like their angle in terms of how they're trying to penetrate the market here. They're like, we're going to give you psilocybin, but the psilocybin that we're working on is going to have a faster onset and a shorter duration. And I think that if you're in a clinic and let's say you're given the choice of traditional psilocybin, which will last, let's say, anywhere up to 8 hours, or one that lasts around 3 hours, I would take the 3 hour one every single time. Every single time. That's just me, though, and I'm sure others might have different opinions regarding this, but I just like this I like this angle. I really, really do. I think that um, a shorter duration psilocybin experience has a lot of value in a therapeutic setting. So yeah, there isn't much to say in regards to Cybin. They're focusing on the CYB003 and CYB004, like I've mentioned. Um, so to get to CYB004, I like any company that's focusing on DMT. Why? I've mentioned this in other videos. It is because I think DMT has the highest ceiling for therapeutic purposes, and while also being the shortest acting of all the psychedelics. It's like a 15-minute experience if you do inhaled DMT. So, um, I like the two molecules that they've decided to focus on, psilocybin and DMT. So generally, this is why I like Cybin. Also, Doug Drysdale, amazing CEO. If I didn't mention it in the video yet, like you have in my opinion, one of the best CEOs in the psychedelic sector. He has a tremendous amount of experience. He knows how to get drugs through the FDA pipeline. He has all the things I look for a CEO within the pharmaceutical sector. So that's like should be a vote of confidence for Cybin investors or potential Cybin investors. It's like you want to be confident in the CEO that's running the company. There's no other way to put it. It's relatively obvious. So Doug Drysdale gets my stamp of approval. Like that even matters, but he gets my stamp of approval. So let's go to the charts. All right, so Cybin is trading today at 74 cents. So essentially, like over the course of the last year, Cybin has been slowly declining from a high of close to $4. In my opinion, Cybin is tremendously oversold right now. Even if you look at the RSI, like right down here, very oversold. But I get why investors are hesitant about Cybin. Reason being is they have basically a year of cash runway, and they're not going to be generating revenues anytime soon. So they're going to need these positive any positive FDA news regarding their molecules to kind of appreciate that stock price. It does look to me like 70 cents is hardcore support for them. So like if you're an investor looking to start a position, I feel like anywhere in this 70-cent range would be a good time if you're looking to get into Cybin. Like I said, they're incredibly oversold. And yeah, as we get more news over time in regards to how effective their CYB003, for example, is their psilocybin analog. Their deuterated psilocybin analog is. As we get more news on how effective it is and are the results promising, you're going to see the stock price start to slowly appreciate. So yeah, this isn't going to be a long video, but just wanted to cover Cybin. I think as of today, 74 cents, I don't see a tremendous amount of downside. This is the downside that I do see, is that if Cybin has delays, or if any of the upcoming results from their trials aren't as good as investors had hoped, I can see that hurting the stock. And then obviously, the closer we get to that year point, the closer dilution becomes a reality. So it's like, these are things I should keep in mind. But if you are looking to start a position, I think anywhere from 70, I think around the 70-cent range, even at 70 cents flat, you're getting a pretty good deal on Cybin. Yeah. So like to kind of sum everything up, Cybin has a year of runway. Basically, they are working on CYB003 and CYB004. CYB003 is, I'm pretty sure, their main focus, which is a faster onset, shorter duration psilocybin analog, which in my opinion will be perfect for in-clinic psychedelic assisted therapy, which is why I'm highlighting this company today. And yeah, I just wanted to edit in one thing that I didn't mention in the video, and it's that I believe Cybin is going to be a prime acquisition target. Like we saw with Numinous and Novamind, it's my belief that we're going to continue seeing a consolidation of the psychedelic sector, meaning that companies will merge, some will get acquired. It's going to keep happening as time passes, and I do believe that Cybin provides a lot of value to a company that would be looking to acquire them. So, like, just as an investor or potential investor of Cybin, be on the lookout for that, because that is definitely something that is very much in line with what could happen to Cybin in the future. I do foresee an acquisition at some point. Don't know when it's going to happen. And that could end up not happening at all. But I do believe that they are a prime acquisition target. All right, yeah, and thank you guys for watching the video, and have a great day.